So as Megan said, there's a great difference between the class in terms of shoppers and then to Mallrats, and the security is obviously onto that because they're constantly standing around the Mallrats, watching them, even watching us.
I felt definitely threatened by the amount of security watching us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like admittedly, we were kind of walking around trying to take video of people, but they even kind of followed us at one point and just kind of just intimidated us, probably because we weren't carrying around shopping bags.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what the mall rats would feel. Like not having a shopping bag and not participating in the shopping environment, I guess. And that's something that one of our readings showed, is that the mall tries to engage people, and the mall rats aren't actually utilising the space in the way that the mall is intended to be. Um,
They're really just taking up space.
yeah, they're only using it as a place to socialise. They're not engaging with the shops. They're not engaging with the entertainment
We just have
factors.
to look at the footage of them roughhousing around.
Yeah.
Like, that could be done anywhere, but they're choosing to do it at the mall.
Exactly right.
It's also, I feel like, yeah, the roughhousing makes other shoppers uncomfortable.
Definitely, the space that they have claimed is now their space, especially in that middle strip.
Yeah. Well, I guess most of the serious shoppers would be going over the bridge just to avoid them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Like even when people do walk through, they don't linger there. They kind of speedily walk through and not make eye contact with people. The Paco Underhill reading, he mentioned that in America, suburban malls tend to be set away from public transport, and now that's something that Jane, you said it wasn't true.
Yeah, it might be in some cases and maybe in newer malls to prevent like the mall rats from claiming the territory or whatever, but I don't know, malls close to my house, definitely in Denver, are easily accessed by train or bus or walking distance from schools.
And I think he said that in relation to the undesirables couldn't actually access it. So the people that could access the mall were the people that already had cars. They had the means to shop, and the means to engage
That
with.
links back to what I said earlier, that they're a part of a different economic status kind of thing.
But that's not possible in Wollongong. It's a blue collar
No,
suburb,
yeah.
and it's set close to a bus stop, close to a train station, close to high schools, and that probably proliferates the mall rat.
Yeah, definitely, and it's people walk everywhere around Wollongong too. It's a good climate. It's not like it's freezing cold.
Right.
Yeah, and you also see in the footage that the level of population between the strip and then the malls, it was basically empty in a lot of the mall space.
It was
As
The
opposed,
inside, yeah.
just further like emphasising the point that they don't go there to shop because they're not in where the shops are.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that probably the whole thing in Wollongong definitely reinforces Hebditch's emphasis on class in his subculture book. I think it's probably a great reflection on how class is affecting, or how their class has affected their treatment from the security and from the mall.
A lot of U.S. shopping malls are starting to put curfews on unaccompanied mall rats, so anyone basically under the age of 18 has to be accompanied by someone over the age of 21. The pros for this is because malls have become kind of like almost a daycare for teens. They go there to hang out on weekends and after school, and kind of like, I would say it affects business.
Well, someone has to take a duty of care for the minors as well.
Yeah.
But the majority of people we saw yesterday
Yeah,
were
were minors.
definitely minors, without
Yeah.
a doubt.
Because if something happens to a minor, then the parents are going to be like, even though maybe they should be responsible for supervising their own children, they're going to be like, why did my kid get into this situation? That leaves the
Exactly.
mall open to a lot of liability.
At the same time, the unsupervised teens can make the malls less safe because they're rowdy, they hassle people, they scare away business, take up space. I mean, there's fights, shoplifting, stupid behavior.
And we saw that yesterday, like just stupid
Mhm.
behaviour, like stuff that could go on anywhere, as you said. But they've chosen to do it in the mall, where it's
Exactly.
probably endangering the
Even the
mall.
most bizarre thing was the guy carrying a kitten in his pocket.
Yeah,
Oh
he
my
was carrying a
gosh.
kitten, and that's not something you'd traditionally do at a mall. And it's
Exactly.
definitely not something you'd engage in.
Yeah.
You're engaging with the mall.
Yeah, because malls they're a business, and it's actually shown that the malls that have imposed curfews have seen their sales increase. Because the curfews don't ban teens, they just make for the safer and better experience for everyone
And I think we
else.
saw that yesterday. I don't know whether it was a curfew, but it seemed to clear out in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
In the 15 minutes at the end, where we were at the end there, it went from packed to near empty, especially in the strip.
Yeah. Why would you think that was?
I think it's probably because
Security or the police came through, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, we saw they weren't at the youth centre as well, so
Yeah.
it's either they've gone home or found other places to be by a certain time.
Yeah. Looking at the other side of it, though, of the curfews, sometimes the teenagers do spend money at the mall, and it's shown that shoppers ages 12 to 19 spent $170 billion in 2002 in the United States.
Well, I guess if the shops really didn't want them hanging around, as in protest, they would shut their doors at 5
That's
o'clock
true, that's
on a
true.
Thursday night. They would say no more late night
Also, I
shopping.
think there's a definite distinction between Mallrats and teenage shoppers.
Teenage shoppers,
There's
that's
definitely
true.
like a class thing, or at least in the eyes of the mall,
Oh.
as a business, it's a big distinction
You
between.
could see the difference between classes, even of just the teens hanging in the mall last
Yeah.
night.
Mhm.
Right. The curfews they lump the good kids with the troublemakers, though, so it's almost unfair to penalize the young people just based on stereotypes.
Well, that again goes back to how we felt last night. We
Yeah.
weren't doing the wrong thing by
Exactly.
just loitering in the mall
Yeah,
But
the
we still
security
felt
people were
pressured.
following us. Yeah,
because we were young.
exactly. So, yeah, I don't know. And you can also look at the fact that teens don't really have good places to hang out after school or on weekends, and malls are relatively safe. Like, there are security people there to look after them. But
Like by working at a mall, I think I work at the David Jones in the mall there, and I think only on one experience I've had where there's actually been like quite a significant brawl, and that wasn't between mall rats.
Yeah.
That was at 12 o'clock at night on drunken people rather than mall rats. So I think it's kind of unfair that they get
Everyone
targeted,
gets tagged with the same.
tagged with the same brush.
Yeah.
exactly.
Um,
And then you were saying they used music too?
Oh, I read an example in a newspaper recently. MacArthur Square in Campbelltown's a big hotspot for Mallrats.
and that's a low socioeconomic
It is a very low
status kind of
status area.
place, yeah.
Very working class.
Similar to Wollongong,
I'd say similar to Wollongong, maybe a bit
if not
underneath
worse.
Wollongong. Yeah. Where they were playing Barry Manilow late at night to kind of force the Mallrats out of the mall because they can't stand the old music apparently. I don't know whether that's backfired on them or...
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
On an outro note, I guess I'm going to play you some Celine Dion. This might force some of those mall rats out of the malls. See you later.